grinding things out, because there is a point where it does become silly. I mean, Malzahn XT are at the moment playing in 6 separate tournaments. Constant CS, day in and day out. And the trade-off is that you never get time to sit down and look at these matches and figure out where to improve. And days like this happen where things just go very, very wrong from a technical perspective, and then matches just last forever. And in this case, obviously, you've had a blowout towards your favor. You've been blown out the same. You've gone back into this nuke, and it's like, oh, lads, we're almost there. But then you ease off that gas pedal a little bit, and it's like, oh, okay. Now Eklot, they've caught up to us. We have our gun by. We have another rifle round for Malzahn XT. But it might just have to be this one or bust.
I think Malzahn XT have played just over 100 maps in the last 3 months of HLTV. Eklot are about 90. You've got the Sashi Espionage guys that are about 160. So there is a lot of grinders in Tier 2. Some of them benefit and some of them falter. Crizzen watching out from door, and once more it is these upper takes from Eklot.
Malzahn XT had one good round when they brought it back to a 1 versus 1. Can they hold more confidence? Can they get enough trades to just barely manage the round itself? Naitu flashed off from the top end of the silos. There's more flashes inbound to the T side. Cancellation ahead of the smokes down towards Squeaky and towards a hut here.
That was always going to be a double pump. You can see they throw that util, none of them move. None of them are getting off a T roof. So they've got options now. They can do outside smokes, they can double pump to A, they can take ramp. They have drawn so much counter utility. There is not an incendiary insight for Malzahn XT now.
You mentioned it, that exploitation, the games that Kriaz could play with his strats being called out. Eklot expecting action still, expecting there to be an outside maneuver. Molotov sent in. HE's down there for Naitu. He's spotted the feet of one player. Will dish out some damage. Continuous sprays. They check for it. Flashbangs forward. Crizzen with the kill. Naitu with a follow-up as well. Runs out of ammo for the secondary pick of his own, allowing Forzy one pick back. But look at the outcome. A 4v2 for Malzahn XT. Bomb lost to the T side. 30 seconds remaining. Kriaz just seen ahead of this smoke. His head popped up above it. Syrah catches him. And at long last, Mal's NXT have pushed us to map, match, and group points.
And you might be thinking here, why is Forzy saving? They don't know that Burmese got the AWP. They might think that the AWP's not in play, so it might not be able to get afforded in the next round. So hold it out towards T-spawn, disallow that to be the chance. And for Malzahn XT, that hold in upper comes down to 2 very blind players delivering. Naitu from the top of default and Crizzen on the floor. They're getting hit by everything. They're getting hit by the mollies, the flashes, but the spam and the connections are successful to kills.
And now the weakness is no longer a factor. Have Eklot hit their limit? Have Mal surpassed theirs? I mean, Crizzen wasn't even that blind to his credit. Buys will still be seen on the T side. Again, they got plenty of cash, so they can afford all the standard weapons. Malzahn XT kept 4 players in, so things will start to at least build back for them. They'll still be on potentially shaky ground if they lose the follow-up, though, and that depends on how many players save their weapons. Ideally, though, these ones will close out here, and they've got all the equipment to do so. 3 AKs available to the CT side.
And this is the kind of matchup where you get the feel that both teams are very successful with the mind games, and it's because both teams play a lot of nuke. We saw Malzahn XT pick nuke against Nemega in the winners game. We saw Eklot pick nuke against Malzahn XT in the opening game. It's the second highest, most peak map in the pool for Malzahn XT, and it's the highest for Eklot. They go to it as a decider because both teams play a lot of it. They don't want to give the freedom of it being a map pick. 2 rounds the difference. 2 to overtime, 1 to close. Malzahn XT have ended the streak. Can they make it 2 in a row for their own sake?
They've got all the tools they need. They just have to put the hammer down. Or Forzy looking towards outside, contesting a bit more of a default here for Eklot. It's Still heavy-handed indoors. Kriaz just spotted there by Syrah. HG's at the ready will put that down to the man. Early damage, pretty hefty.
Forzy and Kriaz are going to try and sandwich outside, working from silo and from the back. Crizin with another HE. Kriaz is hoping for a good timing.
Evaded that HE, and the damage that it compounds with. The AWP is about not quite going to get seen. The jump face of Syrah timed so well, so Forzy not going to be allowed an opening pick for his own. Bermalov's Orbs waiting, they're putting utility indoors. I think they're setting up some smokes towards outside as well. Yeah,
haven't seen any ramp plays in a while from Eklot. It's just been upper takes and a little bit of insertion outside. Syrah's going to get backed up by the in-game leader.
They're staggered their forces, though. He might get sandwiched between them. Picks and timing, everything. They've seen what's going on. Syrah got the one. Daitor traded back. Incendiary's come forward. The spam of Crizin runs out of ammo, but the Molotov burns away at Daitor regardless. Continuing to work down the HP bars to the next two. Naitu is up to task with 30 seconds on the clock. Eklot have to move.
MBQ's going to try and cut a rotation up from the top bomb side. Daitor on low HP. Him and Blitz are desperate for the kill.
Just barely missed out the chance to get Daitor. 18 seconds. Fast rotations come back up from Secret. MBQ is inserted outside a squeak door. Crizin top of hut. He's caught by Daitor's headshot gain. Forzy's Orb finds Bermalov on the rotator heaven. And by the thinnest of margins, it feels like Eklot may still hold life in this matchup. No moves from Naitu. PR's close, finds a fight onto Blitz, tries to contest still in this round. Attention drawn towards him. A flashbang comes outside of the bomb site, flanked by MBQ, gets him. Naitu still didn't make a move up the top of vents. And Eklot, despite all the firepower against them, despite all the damage that was done by Mao's NXT, they say play on.
A fundamental collapse of the A-bomb site. I mean, I don't even know what's happening there on top hut. I don't know how that's not 1 kill, 2 kills probably. And then Burmy, look, he has to re-peek into it, but he's got no crossfire and it's being watched. So that's uncomfortable, but the top hut player needs to deliver way more. That is just poor. Mao's NXT scrambling, pressured right now.
One more round to the win and to the overtime. Eklot behind Mao's weapon set. M4's in, HE's down as standard as PR holds his nerve. They need a whole lot more than nerves here. They need that extra 10%. The one thing that they've looked for throughout the course of the entire second map and the second half of the third map. Had an 11-4 at one point in Mao's NXT. This should have been done a long time ago. Orpa Bermalov now missing shots, trying to bait out Forzy, trying to force that Orp into his own fights, but doesn't work out.
PR out from ramp, could be up against quite a bit. MBQ and Blitz on a slow walk contact.
Incendiary was attempting to get thrown out. He's forced to utilize it as he realized there was two heads. He was definitely in trouble. Here goes quiet. Outside smokes will initially set in. The diagonals will come down in the end. There were HGs available. MBQ gets PR. HG popped open. Bermalov couldn't connect a shot. Ramp is open. There is a walk continuing from MBQ. Bermalov is wary of it, but has got to play double duty. 45 seconds on the clock.
That double play down towards Secret. There's going to be contact from the two Danes.
Footsteps heard of Crizin in the corner. Contact to be taken, spray through, and he's that swing. Crizin doubles up. Pistols pulled out. He's low HP, but he falls back out of angle. AWP of Bermalov lands the collateral, the tag on the second man, the kill towards Daitor. And it seems like finally Eklot have run out of steam. Mao's NXT do lose the Orb for Heaven. The spray is on Naitu. Blitz can catch one, but Naitu's responded to. He's got to go back downstairs at the B-bomb site. But Syrah is well aware of what's going on here. He's well aware of what he's got to do. Wait and hold. Tap the bomb once. Open position denied by the last player of the CT side. 13-11. Mao's NXT may have struggled to close out Nuke, but they do so and take their spot in the playoffs.
And honestly, when I look at this Mao's NXT roster, Jay, there's a lot of star players. There's a lot of young, hard fraggers, but I always get the vibe that Crizin, the in-game leader, is the one that closes games. He's the one that generates those impact jewels against that top site play, right? Where he's out on the floor, where Naitu's from the top silo, He gets 2 kills there. That gives them 1 very important CT round. And then right at the tail end, once more, that dynamic duo, Crizzen making the info play, getting Sierra to get set up. Those 2 players on the crossfire in secret, they win the game.
I mean, even just thinking about how that whole Anubis went down, right, with him being the main guy that inserted out towards mid on the T side. I know, obviously, it didn't work out to much more than just a few consolation rounds at the tail end of that particular map up. But even him being top fragger of the series coming into this final map up, like, he's done a lot of great work. And you are right about some of the stars here. I think the one concern for me is to be Mao's NXT and those stars' consistency, right? They are young players. They have still got a lot of development to do, but it's like, you just look at how that last map went down and you can see where some of the errors were really getting forced out. The confidence to defend that A-bomb site especially, that was a clear weak point discovered by Eklot and exploited time and again.
Eklot will be disappointed in themselves because I know, again, I'm talking about the 5v2 rounds, but even with that one, they would have had more survival chances. Like, that one round would have given them an extra 2, maybe 3 rounds in the first half, and at that point onwards, you're not so pressured. When you're down 4-8 on T-side of Nuke, it is so tough. Then you lose pistol. Then you lose the anti-force play. You're down 4-11. You're like, Brev, I've got no rounds to play with. Like, I know they did a really good comeback to hold on, but 4-11 to come back is just, it's a death wish. It's so damn difficult.
And in the end, even though the comeback was close, Mao's NXT edged out the last couple of rounds that they needed to take the map and the series. They move forward alongside Omega as the 2 teams out of Group D and into the playoffs. Eklot will have to come back next time. A hell of an effort for them in those best of 3s, but ultimately they will not be part of our top 8. That top 8 has been fully decided as the groups have closed. Alternate Attacks, Sangle, Bleed, Mao's NXT, Paravision, Passion UA, Omega, and Bades are the top 8 of the 3rd Rest European Regional.
And just some early thoughts on the bracket as well. Omega and Bleed seem to be the most likely grand finalists. Sangle's shown some pretty good form. I think they'll be able to beat Alternate Attacks. I'm expecting Bleed to beat Mao's NXT. CIS Derby in Omega and Bait and Perivision versus Passion UA. Those are going to be some really fun games to watch out for because they're going to be quite close. They're going to be a bit of a nail-biter.
Especially given how well Bait did in the playoffs last time around against Bleed, and now they basically have to face up against the other top team from that bracket now in this one. Like, there's a lot of intrigue about that matchup for me, so I'm excited to see how that one plays out. But obviously, Mao's moving on to face on the Bleed side of their own right. It's kind of actually those 2 teams kind of swapping places, if you will, because they took on Omega at the start of the last bracket as well. So chance of redemption, chance of revenge. However, Dwayne was saying as well that you wanted to see some confidence out of the ending map because that would have been something to go into that Bleed series with. I don't know whether you can say that.
Probably not. I mean, there'll be an easier team to prep for, I would say. And looking at Bleed, I mean, it was a very close game last time around. So I actually, on reflection, think Mao's NXT could have taken it in 2. But similar to maybe what I saw in this game is that you can have your chances, but if you're not taking them, you're going to get punished. And we saw that across all maps in the series in this isolated game.
Indeed, we did. So maybe some things to work on for the Mao's NXT side. Obviously, they'll be working on them as an academy team in general. But for now, they have to sort of focus up and look towards tomorrow's quarterfinal games, which will, of course, be taking place at the same time, the same place here in tomorrow's proceedings. Only a few more days to go in this regional, so we'll get to decide who will be the next team that takes the big set of points, of course, in the rest circuit. Obviously, Bleed and Omega, we're loving to continue to itch their way up and try and break that current tie we have within the top 3 right now. So a lot of intrigue about how the circuit will play out with tomorrow's quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think, again, Bleed and Omega, they're the go-to teams. And if we get a bit of an upset, right, if we get a team that comes out of nowhere, upsets one of them in the quarterfinals, it's going to shape up for a really great bracket.
Well, we're looking forward to all that action tomorrow, and so should you. Make sure you join us for the quarterfinals of the Rest European Series. But for tonight, we bid you adieu. Thanks for watching, and tune in tomorrow.
Respect from 1xBet. 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 Respect. Respect from 1xBet. Respect from 1xBet. Respect from 1xBet. Respect.